Barack Obama could be our next president. I'm not kidding. This can actually happen. Trump has made no secret of the fact that he wants to change the Constitution and run for a third term. But he wouldn't just automatically win if he ran for a third term. He'd have to run against a Democratic challenger. And if the Constitution no longer prohibited a third term, who would the Democrats' best option be? Barack Obama. And a poll was just released that showed this hypothetical matchup. Trump versus Obama. Who do you think won? Unsurprisingly, Obama wins by 6%, which is actually a blowout margin. And if you look closer at the data, Obama does this by two things. One is by winning independents by about 20%, and two is by stealing a bunch of votes from people who voted for Trump in 24 but would vote for Obama in 28. And this all adds up because in 2016, there were between 6 and 9 million people who voted for Obama in 2008 and 2012 and then voted for Trump in 2016. So in my opinion, change the Constitution. Good luck. The best modern-day American president with the highest approval rating of any living president against an 82-year-old Donald Trump. I like our chances.
Hey, MAGA, you guys should run Dementia Dawn in 2028, because when we get to run Barack Obama again, or we get to run Gavin Newsom up against him, those debates are going to flatten Donnie. It'll actually be a little unfair, because another 3 years of that cognitive decline that Trump's experiencing at the rate that it's going now means that it's going to be like a prize fighter going up against a hospice patient in front of the White House in that UFC ring. Like, you guys can't actually think that that debate's going to go well. Newsom's going to answer a question and be like, boom. And Trump's going to be off rambling about how he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, he was afraid to debate Kamala again. Not to mention that the trajectory of the country isn't going to get better in the next 3 years, which means more and more people will be impacted by his terrible economic policies. Oh, and it's unconstitutional for him to run again. And that's exactly why he's going to try to suspend elections, because he knows he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of running against anybody on his failed economic policies in the cognitive state that he'll be in 2028.
Notice this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
President Donald Trump really says he doesn't know if he's going to run in 2028. He don't know if he's going to run in 2028. What you mean you don't know you're going to run in 2028? Fool, the Constitution said your ass can't run in 2028, but he is of the mind frame that he can get away with stuff and he can get around things unlike any other human being ever has. So just in case, my happy ass got me a Obama 2028. Talking about let's fix this shit. Well, it doesn't say shit, but it says let's fix this. Ha! Now, two can play this game, and at the end of the day, there wouldn't even be a crevice that Donald Trump would be able to win compared to former President Barack Obama. That man is actually loved, revered, respected around the world, unlike the current. How about that one? Obama, 2028. Bye.
The political rivalry that has dominated America for years suddenly returned to center stage in the most dramatic way imaginable. A growing online debate has erupted around a hypothetical scenario that has social media bruising. Imagine a political landscape where Donald Trump seeks another run at the White House and somehow Barack Obama returns to the national spotlight. Why such a matchup faces major constitutional obstacle that hasn't stopped millions of people from discussing it, arguing about it, and imagining what it would mean for American future. For many Trump supporters, the very idea has sparked outrage. They see Obama as a symbol of policies they spent years fighting against. Meanwhile, Obama supporters argue that his leadership style, global popularity, and political legacy continues to resonate with many Americans even years after leaving office. The result, a political conversation that is becoming more intense by the day. Across social media, people are debating who had the greater impact on America, whose policies produce better results and which vision of the country they would rather see represented. But perhaps the most interesting part is not the politicians themselves, it's how deeply divided public opinion remains. Even years later, these two political figures continue to dominate discussion in a way very leader ever have.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's in his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
But you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it.
If the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like.
It's not. Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why it seems to me some kind of tension
First
there.
off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started.
What's up, family? There's a lot of chatter in the background about Barack Obama running for president in 2028 if Donald Trump attempts to run. First of all, what do y'all think about that, fam? What do you think? Trump versus Obama in 2028. I mean, all legalities aside, just on the surface. Trump versus Obama. Who you got? Give me a thumbs up if you got Obama. 2 thumbs up if you got Trump. Let me see what y'all thinking. Let me see. I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. Well, first of all, fam, let me just say this. Under the Constitution, Barack Obama and Donald Trump are ineligible to run for president a third term. Neither one can run again. Neither one can hold office again. The 22nd Amendment, ratified in 1951, states that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. So that's it. Discussion over, video over, I'm gone. See you later. Now, I'm going to run it for a little bit because we need to talk about this, fam, because there's a lot of discussions out there, people, because Trump mainly keeps renewing this discussion because he is constantly talking about perhaps running. He's been floating the idea of running again for a third term, or running for a third term for a minute now. And, you know, a lot of times when Trump speaks on things, even when it seems like he's just joking, he's dead serious. This is why you cannot take him for a joke, even though he is a clown. You cannot take him for a joke because this dude will say something just to check the temperature, just to see what the reaction might be. And depending on the level, then that's when he makes his move. Now, there's been a significant social media speculation and hypothetical polling on a Trump versus Obama election. But let me clarify something. Having served from 2009 to 2017, Obama is barred from being elected to a third term. And the same thing applies to Donald Trump. You know, he had from 2016 to 2020, and now.
So there's a lot of talk the last couple of days. Trump is now selling Trump 2028 hats, signifying he's going to try to run for a third term. We know that's unconstitutional. We're the party of law and order. We're the party, the constitutionalist party, unless it comes to me running for a third term or denying due process to American citizens and migrants that are here legally. But the question remains, MAGA, why do you want him to run for a third term? Nothing is going well in this country. Also, can somebody tell MAGA? Can somebody tell MAGA Republicans? Can somebody tell Quadruple D, Dirty Dingaling, Dementia Donnie, that if he runs a third term, we're going to go get Uncle Barack? We're going to get Uncle Barack to run in 2028 as well. So if you try to violate the Constitution, guess what? Democrats are going to violate that thing too. Okay, somebody tell him. But the question remains, why do you want Trump to run for a third term? He's not even performing well in the second term. It's been a disaster. Why are we talking about a third term? First off, my milk, my eggs. Those prices have been up every month that he's been in office. I won on 2 words, groceries and the border, and groceries are going up, and I'm not mass deporting anybody. Groceries, milk and eggs, inflation's going to be next to nothing. Why do you want him for a third term? Milk and eggs up, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, USDA. We also have a stroke of a pen. I'm going to end the Russia-Ukraine war day one. Actually, before I get in office, stroke of a pen. Now Vladimir Putin, he continues to increase his aggression, and Trump can't stop him. He's trying to beg him to stop on Untrue Social. It's not working. He said, Vlad is bad right now. Vlad is bad. I don't want to make him mad, but Vlad is bad. Stroke of a pen. I can end the war. Only I can do it. I'm the chosen one. Nothing is going well, MAGA. Okay, he's denying people due process. He's defying court orders, including the Supreme Court. Selling off bonds in this country. China and Japan are selling off our treasury bonds, our 10-year bonds. Those bond rates are increasing to levels we haven't seen in decades, which signifies a weakening economy. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Kramer's all anticipating a recession. There will be increased borrowing costs. There are also anticipated interest rates, which is why people are selling off our bonds. So the question remains, why do you Trumpers want him to run for a third term when he's not doing what he said he was going to do in a second term? It makes no sense. And somebody tell him, if you run Trump a third term, we are running Barack. So just so you know, Barack's coming if Trump's coming. Again, it's not going to happen. It's against the Constitution. Unless that Constitution is changed by both chambers of Congress and 2/3 of the states, it's not happening. But the question remains, why do you want him back? The S&P is down 6%. It's only rallied this week because he's backed off on his tariff promises against China. So I'm trying to figure out why you want him running for a third term. Makes no sense. He's destroying the country right now in his second term, just like he did during his first term. There's nothing going well. Your grocery prices are going up. Jerome Powell will not fucking cut interest rates because of anticipation of rising costs, rising grocery prices, and anticipation of a recession. So again, why do you want him for a third term? Makes no sense, MAGA. Make it make sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. Makes no sense.
Before we go any further, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you watching, whether you are joining us from the United States, Africa, Europe, Asia, or anywhere else around the world. Your support means everything. Every comment, every like, and every share helps this channel grow and keeps this community alive. We truly appreciate you for being part of this amazing community. Now, it's your turn. If a hypothetical Trump versus Obama showdown were possible, who do you think would have the advantage and why? Drop your thoughts in the comment below.